Hey guys! Today I'm going to be showing you how I do my everyday face routine. Today I'm going to be using the Revlon Nearly Naked foundation and powder. I switch up my foundation, so I don't use this every day, but it's the one I'm going to use today. So let's get started. Before I put on my foundation or anything, I always moisturize my skin. Right now I'm using Olay Fresh Effects. Leaves a satin finish, not shiny. I let that fully soak into my skin before I start putting makeup. There's that, and then always before I start doing my makeup, I apply some kind of chapstick on my lips so that by the time I do my lipstick, usually at the end, my lips are nice and moisturized. And this is the Nivea Kiss of Moisture chapstick, I guess. Lip balm, I don't know. You guys already know I've been using this Monistat Chafing Gel as my primer, so I'm just going to go ahead and apply that all over my face. I use about like a pea-size amount. Rub it into my fingers and dot it around and then rub it in. Make sure it's rubbed in evenly all over your skin. And I apologize that I'm not doing a voiceover on this video. I've been having so much trouble with that, so this is just going to be me talking to you. So next I'm going to be doing a little bit of concealing using this Physicians Formula RX concealer, and it is green, as you can see. This stuff is really concentrated, so you really do not need a lot. Like, I just squeeze it so it's just showing out the tube, and take like the little tiniest dot. And this might even be too much. It's so concentrated. I use this on spots. I have 2 spots, and then the rest, see how concentrated that is? Right in here around the nose. And it looks quite green. You've got to blend it in pretty well. And I just pat over the dots, because if I spread it, it kind of disappears and doesn't cover as well, and if I don't pat it enough, it looks green. So I do that, and then I go over any other spots that maybe aren't as red. Use Maybelline Mineral Power Concealer. So usually on my chin, I have a lot of like little tiny red spots. They're not pimples, they're just kind of there. There's always redness on my chin. Don't want to conceal my lips. And a little bit here. Do some dots there and put a little on my nose to highlight it. Put a little more there because I have like this spot right here and it's always super red. And last, for concealing, I'm going to conceal my under eyes using this Pixi color corrector in Brightening Peach. I kind of let it melt a little tiny bit before I start dabbing it in. I like using fingers to conceal because I feel like it melts the product a little bit so that it goes into your skin better. And I use patting motions a lot instead of swiping, because I don't want to swipe the product away. I want it to, you know, sit on my skin, so I press it in. So that's my concealing. Sometimes I don't conceal at all, and sometimes I'll do like this where I do full concealer. So it changes from day to day. Now I'm going to go ahead and put on the foundation. I am in the shade Ivory, which I'm pretty sure is the lightest one. So I just dot it around my face. Usually I do 1/2 of the face and then the other. Using a Sonia Kashuk foundation buffing brush. I kind of stipple it a little bit and then swirl it to buff it in. And I do the other side. And I do my forehead last usually. Really try to get it up kind of in the hairline because you don't want a weird hairline. But you also don't want to get foundation in your hair, so it's, you know, a delicate process. Now I'm going to use the Revlon Nearly Naked powder to set that, and this is Fair, which is also the lightest shade. I take a large powder brush and pat it into the powder. I don't really swirl it. I just kind of wiggle it, pat it, and pat it on my face. Kind of whack myself in the face with this then. Pat it on, because I don't want to swirl it around and mess up my foundation. And I kind of do like a stippling motion with this too. At the very end, do like a very slight dusting. Next thing I do in my face is contour, and I've been using the Milk Chocolate Soleil, but today, since I'm keeping it Revlon, I'm going to use my Revlon Photo Ready bronzer, and I use kind of like a combination of the two lightest shades because the bottoms are way too dark. So I just kind of dot that, tap off the excess, do the fish face, and contour. Bring it up around the cheekbone into the temple, down on the chin a little bit. And I start doing the motion, this motion, before I actually put it to my skin. I just find it to blend better than to go like that. And then if you just push it right on to one spot, there'll be like a blotch. So yeah, that's what I do. And I switch between whether I do a highlight first or a blush first. Today I'm just going to do my blush and then my highlight. I'm using this Rimmel Santa Rose blush, and I love it. It is the greatest neutral blush if you just want a nice flush of color without it being too much. It's not really like something that someone's going to be like, oh, look at her blush, because it's kind of like a natural flush, and I really just love it. So I start not right in the center of the apple. I don't really like doing my whole, you know, apple. I have pretty big cheek apples, so I start kind of in the middle and bring it right below my cheekbone, right in between where the highlight and the bronzer is, where we just contoured. So I kind of pat it on and then sweep it. And I use a light hand with blush. I use a pretty light hand with all my makeup. I used to have problems with my makeup coming out because I would always use a really heavy hand. So once I learned how to use a little bit lighter hand, it really started to come out a lot better. So for a highlight, I like to use these hard candy blushes. This is Honeymoon. It is the more pink one that I have. The other one I have, which I just showed in a haul that I finally picked up, is the more champagne one. But this is Honeymoon, so I just, you know, I pat my brushes. I don't really swirl because I feel like product gets everywhere. So I just pat it, sometimes wiggle it, tap it, and just sweep that over my cheekbones. Sometimes I'll put it a little bit more on the apples, like today. So I'm including my brows in my face because it kind of stays the same every day. I know you guys have seen me do my brows in videos before, so if you want to stop watching, this is pretty much the face part of it, and I'm just going to finish up with my brows. So I start with hair-like strokes at the front of my brow on the bottom, and bring it to the end, the tail. And I kind of go back. So I go like, nyeh, nyeh, and over the top, kind of. And I use short strokes because if I just was like this, it would look really weird and unnatural. So I do strokes that are going to look kind of like hair. I use a lighter hand on the top of the brow and in the front of the brow. Like here I use quite light hand. Gotta practice that light hand. Now my brows are completely uneven. I know that. I don't try to make them perfectly even. I just try to make each one look good in its own way. A lot of people have uneven brows. I don't really know what to tell you. And mine are getting to the point where I need to go get them waxed. I know eyebrow waxing is probably not good for your skin. I've heard it like tugs and yada yada, but I hate plucking them. I have no patience for plucking. I get my eyebrows waxed. And I don't have really bushy eyebrows. They're very sparse hairs, but they'll like grow like really sparsely all the way over here and like underneath, and there'll be like little hairs everywhere. See, this eyebrow is nowhere near shaped the other one. I like my other eyebrow better. I have favorites. I pick favorites between my eyebrows. And this is my less favorite eyebrow. It seems to take me longer because it's bushier. So sometimes I try to like, I know I said I try not to make them even, but I do try to make them even a little bit. I lied. I'll try to make this one look a little bit thicker. Okay, so I penciled them in. That took a little while. Then I comb them. And for powder, I usually use, most of the time, I use this MakeupGeek eyeshadow. It is Mocha, and it is a matte dark brown. And I use a pencil brush, tap it quite lightly, get a little product on there, and then I kind of start in the middle of the brow because I don't want to start in the front and have it be really harsh. So I start in the middle, kind of near the arch, and bring it down the tail. Very light hand. And then I kind of rub it in there and go over it so all the hairs are going in the same direction again. Sometimes I take this fan brush and I'll just very lightly, I'm not pressing at all, go over my face to get rid of any excess powder. So that's how I do my brows and my face. I hope you guys enjoyed watching.